Running down the highway to hell.
Woo!
Good evening. How is everybody today? I hope that you've made it to your destination safely. And I hope, or maybe you're listening to us on the way to your destination. Get there safe. Either way, welcome back to another episode of Seriously What the Fuck with your girl Nikki and
Mish, hey everybody!
yeah.
We are unhinged and heading to hell.
Hell yeah.
It's gonna be a
Hell
hella good.
yeah.
It's gonna be a hella good time.
Yeah, that's what y'all be saying out here. Hella. Y'all say that a lot. Hella and hecka. This is hella.
Hella's
Hella wild.
Hella's the better one. Hella
This
is
is
the way to be.
for
Hella.
those of you who can see, I got on some really dope earrings. They are boarding passes, and I absolutely love them. Um, I know I'm gonna say the name wrong, but a girl I went to high school with, lovely young lady. It's called Hall of Arts, I think. I think that's
Okay.
it. But that's where I get
Well,
my earrings from. She has very unique earrings, and I love them. But I got these because traveling is my life. I love travel. It's one of
it's
the
your
best things ever.
it's your passion.
Yeah, a passion for fashion and travel. But like I have been to, I don't know, maybe 20 countries now, somewhere around there, I think. Either way, I've been to all 50 states. That was pretty fun. I love road tripping. And now you have a nice new vehicle. You like road tripping?
I usually do a lot of road tripping. I mean, I've toured a lot of California, and I have left the United States to go to all places, the exotic Mexico.
Hey, Mexico is exotic, actually.
Uh, Not where I've been. I've been to like Tijuana and Cabo. That's it. Like
They can be kind of exotic.
Tijuana, definitely not. Tijuana just feels like a really shitty American downtown. But Cabo is really pretty. Cabo is really cool. But no, I'm hoping to change that this year since I no longer have an annual Disney pass. I'm hoping that I get to travel other places and finally get a stamp in my passport.
Where are you thinking about going? To hell.
Yeah.
Like you said, the
Where
highway to hell.
wherever I can afford, girl. Wherever I
Okay,
can afford.
okay. I'm staying.
No,
Um,
legitimately though, my friend wants to go to Belize in September. I have
ooh,
heard little more about that trip, so highly unlikely. I think I'll probably venture to Iceland first. I've been trying to get there for the past few years. I want to see the Northern Lights, aka the Aurora Borealis. So, yeah, hoping to get out there the end of this year. So we'll
cool.
see.
I have a layover there on my way back from Portugal. It's not going to be long enough to really do a whole lot of anything, but because I land at like 2 a.m. and then I take off at 9:45 a.m. So I'll be, yeah, it's gonna be random. However, during that time, whether it's the all midnights or the midnight sun or whatever the fuck it is, I'm gonna be outside. So I'm not packing a ton of stuff. And I'm debating on like, am I gonna get a hotel or am I just gonna ramble and roam the city, until it's time for me to go back. But I don't know what'll be open. So I gotta do a little bit more research, see if there'd be something open and stop by a club or something like that and just groove. Maybe get some breakfast there at an early breakfast spot, and I can say I ate breakfast in Iceland. And then I go from Iceland to Calgary.
Canada.
Yeah,
Canada.
yeah. Never been. I think I've been to Calgary, and then back here to good old state of California. Going out there, I haven't bought that ticket yet, but we'll see which way I go on that one. And then in June, depending on the flight prices, I might be going to France.
Hmm.
Um, the flight prices have just been unusually high. Last year when I went for the Olympics, it was like $400, $500 round trip. Right now they're looking at like $1,000 for economy. Yeah,
I don't want to be political, but I'm just gonna go ahead and say it's probably tariffs.
could be. It could be. So I'm trying to finagle that one a little bit. We'll see how that's still pending. Definitely going to Japan.
You're good. Mm.
On my end, it said resume recording.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay, great. I was like,
I was like, do you need to answer that call? Is that a potential friend?
is that a gentleman caller?
Mm-hmm.
It is actually, but he lives on the other side of
Mm.
the country.
Oh, is this that guy that you were telling me about?
Maybe. Get you have
Mm,
more
okay.
details?
Open relationship man.
Which one?
That's the right answer. That is the right answer. Which one? I don't remember you telling me about any other than just one guy that will call you with his random stories
Yes.
about shit that.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's him.
Yeah.
That's him.
Okay.
He needs a nickname. Um, mm, I don't know. Because I don't want to give a nickname that has to do with his profession, because that'd be too close. Uh,
No, but you also don't want to give a nickname that deals with his location or like
exactly.
where did you meet him?
Tinder.
Okay, so he could be open Tinder.
Because that could be so many. No, that's that's a story for another day.
All
But
right, we'll. Mm-hmm.
eventually, I will spill tea on him, and I will come up with an appropriate nickname for him. And yeah, we'll have a
And
great conversation.
when you do open up the tea on him, we definitely both need to have tea mugs at the start or coffee mugs at the start of our intro, so you guys all know it's the tea episode.
Yeah, and the tea will be piping hot, piping hot.
Because we could talk about past experiences and past lovers, potentially.
I took a French lover. Always sounds so exotic and fun to me. I did though. That was a good time. uh, so I'm not.
That always sounds so. Oh, wait, I did. Never mind. Just kidding.
It's always been something that I've wanted to do. We still chit chat, and I'll be meeting up with him if I do get a chance to go. If the flight prices kind of chill out, but like, I don't know, traveling and meeting people when I travel has always been something that I've really enjoyed doing. Um, and it's not always for, escapades and whatnot. Matter of fact, it's rarely ever for escapades. But um, having friends in foreign countries is pretty dope. Like, traveling is something that I really enjoy, and I really wish other people would do it a lot more as well. And you know what? I am going to spill some tricks and tips.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
So, first off, I usually have no idea where the fuck I'm going. Like, people like in the beginning of the year, oh, I gotta get my vacations together because I'm doing. I don't have a fucking clue. Not the slightest. You would have asked me last year where I was going this year. Bitch, I don't know. I'll figure it out eventually.
How
So,
is this a tip and or a trick?
I'm laying a foundation here. Because people are always like,
Okay.
well, how do you pick where you're going? I let the Lord lead me.
I was really hoping where I throw a dart at a world map, or I spin the globe and I just point my finger.
You know what? I originally tried some of that, but you know how much of the world is water? I ended up in the ocean so many times, and I was just like, okay, well, can't go
But then
there.
also, if you throw a dart, like, does it land on, like, if it's such a small country, like, but where in that country do you go?
Exactly. So a lot of times I just let the inspiration hit me, whether it's from Instagram, whether it's from my friends' travels, whether it's from a group trip. I just kind of figure it out. So one of the group trips I'm going on, I've been on several trips with them. It's this group called Black Girls Backpack. I have been to Greece, Italy, and Bali with them, and this year we are going to Japan. So I usually check their site and see where the hell they're going. I'll be like, oh, it. So there's that. There's I have a few friends who like to travel. So one of my friends and I, we are going to Thailand in November because that's where they wanted to go. And I was like, I bet I ain't never been. So I requested the time off from work and I'm going to Thailand. Um,
Well,
what
that's exciting.
I am, mm, I really enjoy Afrobeats music, and there is this like essentially like a Coachella for Afrobeats, and it's called Afro Nation. I'm going to that. That's in Portugal.
Okay, so that's what the Portugal trip is for.
Yeah. Um, and then there France. So originally, why I was going to France is because Beyonce is having her concert there, and I found tickets for $200.
Damn, that's inexpensive.
Exactly. And it's like not quite right on the floor, but like you know how like you have the what's that right in front of the stage? That seating, whatever that's called. It's not that. It's directly behind that where you but a standing room. So you're standing like the
Mm.
promenade, so you can stand and dance and have a good time. But I'm probably gonna sell those tickets because that same weekend it's called I'm about to fuck this name up. It's like Fit the Music. However you say it. It's like a music festival in the streets of Paris. It's a celebration of like World Music Day and like all around the city, there's people DJing out of their apartments and people are just dancing on the streets. There's random DJs at different places set up all around the city. It's just a giant fucking party. And as much as I love Beyonce, that sounds like a lot more fun. So I'm just gonna go there, eat some French food, um, and dance, eat some crepes, shake my ass.
Eat some crepes.
Yes. What else do I
Not a croissant.
have? I would never say it like that because they would look at me like, bitch. But I
Yeah.
say all that to say, like, I don't, like, I just picked these, like, at the beginning of this year, and I was just like, oh shit, okay, let me see if I can figure this out. So that means I have a trip in June, July, August, November. Then I have another one in February because I'm going to the Winter Olympics. I'm very
In
excited.
Italy.
Yes. I already bought, I think I'm going to see cross country skiing and something else in the snow. I don't know. But
That
first,
sounds about right.
I pick my destination and then I start looking for flights. So the way I look for flights is I know there's a ton of apps. There's like Skyscanner, but there's a bunch of
There's
different
so many.
that you can use to like find a good price. What I typically like to do is go on, put my phone on incognito mode, and I go to Google Flights and I search the cheapest ones. Like you can search by cheapest, and then you have to. There's like a arrow that points up and down. You have to toggle that and select price, and it'll actually sort it for you. Um, and then from there, when I find the best flight, then I go to whatever website, like if it's American or Delta or whoever, go to the website and buy the ticket from there. Also, don't sleep on if you're going to Europe. Don't sleep on the little cheap ass flights on like Ryanair and jet flights. I don't know. They're cheap. They're like the frontier of Europe. But you can find like super cheap flights for like $19. It's insanely cheap. It's insanely cheap. Insanely
I
cheap.
doubt it's night. I doubt it's $19 from California
Oh
over
no,
to
not
Europe.
from California. I'm saying within Europe.
Oh, within Europe.
Yeah.
Okay, got it, got it, got it.
No, not from here. Girl, no.
I was like, then more people would be going.
But like also my other trick is to not always fly out of the city that's closest to you to get directly over there. So like sometimes, especially if I'm going to Europe, I'll go from California to New York and then fly to JFK, and that might save me $300-400, if not more. Sometimes I'll fly from California to Canada and then go to Europe. Sometimes, usually my big ones that I try out of if I'm going to Europe, Miami, Atlanta. Atlanta's usually expensive though, but every now and again you'll find a good deal. But Miami, I will find out of DC, but the way they've been having issues, mm, I'm gonna skip that one. JFK and LaGuardia, um, those have been pretty good. Boston, Boston sometimes has some stupid cheap flights. Um, and surprisingly, sometimes Dallas can get some cheap
Hmm.
international flights. Um, or like,
Real
huh?
Okay, so real quick,
Yeah.
when you're talking about flying, are you saying you book one flight from California over to these places and then book a separate flight from those airports to Europe?
Yes.
Or is this all because like some of the times that I've looked at flights, I've looked at do I fly out because I'm in Sacramento. So do I fly out of Sacramento, Oakland, SFO? Those are my three closest major airports. And sometimes flying out of Oakland or SFO is actually cheaper if you're going to certain places.
Hmm.
Even if you're going from SFO to somewhere on the East Coast, you're going to get a flight that's $150, $200 cheaper
Yeah.
than if you were to fly out of Sacramento. And so if you can, you know, factor in the price of how much parking your car is going to cost. Or if you have a friend somewhere in that vicinity that you can park a car at and then take public transit over or vice versa, like figure out a way where you can stow your car or get like in Sacramento, you have the Amtrak that'll take you to Oakland to basically the Coliseum stop on the BART. And then from there, you could get on BART and either take it to SFO or you could take it to Oakland International. And so now you're just taking a bunch of different public transit out of Sacramento. So sometimes all of that is still way cheaper than just flying out of SFO.
Yes. And
Or sorry, Sacramento, not SFO.
but even with like let's just say you don't have public transportation near you, one of the sites that I use is I think it's cheap airport parking, or you can just type in cheap airport parking because a lot of the hotels near airports will let you park there for a fee that is substantially cheaper than the airports. So like if airport parking is $20 a day, I find some as cheap as $5 to $10 a day, depending on the area of the country you're in. I find parking in California for about $10 a day. And they're usually pretty safe. You can look at the reviews and see if people have had, things broken into, things stolen. But as long as you don't leave anything in your car that's visible, I haven't had any issues, and I don't know very many people who have had issues. But the people who leave stuff in their vehicles, sometimes they have a tendency to, draw draw the some unsavory characters. Um, I always budget like food into my into my travels, and not the food that you're thinking about. Like, yeah, I like to go places and eat, but I like to eating at the airport. Like the prices are insane. And on a normal day I wouldn't be paying that. I wouldn't be paying $30 for wings. But sometimes you get like these random places that are like so good. And it's like a restaurant that they have in whatever city that you're at, but they only have it like deep off in the city, and since you're not getting out of the airport, you at least get a taste of the city right there. And usually the airport food is pretty good. Like, I've had some really good airport food.
So I'm gonna take a quick segue and talk about random food in destination cities. So when went to New Orleans for Mardi Gras, our what we had a large group. It was like 8 people, and one of the persons in the group was like, "Hey, we got to stop here because they have the number 3 gas station fried chicken." And I was like, "I'm sorry, what?" And he's like, "Yeah, there's a list of the top 20 gas station fried chicken like that you can get throughout like New Orleans proper." And he's like, and this spot was number 3. So I was like, okay, I apparently this is a thing. Let's do it. Girl, that fried chicken was so good. And I was like, and this is number 3? This is number 3. So then later in that same trip, we found out we were very close to gas station number that was rated number 2. So I was like, I am taking an Uber and I'm going to said gas station. I am getting us fried chicken. I'm bringing it back. Now, of note, this fried chicken I did not think was as good as number 3. However, the reason it was rated number 2 is because it said that this particular fried chicken kept its crispiness even after being cold and or reheated.
Oh.
And I can attest to that because we were hung over the next day and had this fried chicken and it was still I was like, what kind of voodoo shit is this?
That sounds absolutely delicious. I wish I could
So
really eat
now,
fried chicken.
well, now I have to go back and get to number 1.
You do. You do.
I don't even know if it's the same list anymore, though.
Aside from like flying and whatnot, I love taking road trips. And that's one of the reasons why, because you get to stop on the side of the road and see all sorts of random and weird shit. It is absolutely cool. I've driven cross country probably 15 times now, back and forth. I used to live in Alabama before I moved to California, and I was a travel nurse. So I was driving back and forth between my assignments. And that's how I got to most of the 50 states. Um, I have stopped at some pretty interesting towns. And for those who have never like seen us, I'm black. Just just so you're aware. And I have stopped in
Should
some.
should I should I mention that I am not black?
Yes, just
Okay.
so just so everybody's aware. But like I have stopped in like some of the whitest towns, and I'm just like, oh, uh, let me either fill up my gas tank, let me get the something to go. I need to get the fuck up out of here. And then usually only stop during the daylight. If I'm stopping at nighttime, it's at a populated gas station that's very well lit, and there are multiple people there. And I've set my location to at least 17 people, and and I tell them exactly where I am, and I take a picture of where my car is stopped and what I'm stopping for and how long I intend to be stopped. That is something that I do with almost every single road trip. Like if I'm stopping in the middle of the night, hey, here's my location. I'm stopping to get gas. I'm getting a monster so I can help stay awake. I also have to pee. I was like, I'll walk around the gas station. If I don't hit you up in 20 minutes, call me. That is usually how it goes. And I suggest, even if, it's a known road, do that. Tell people where the fuck you at. So at worst case, if something happens to you, we have a starting point.
Yeah. I just saw this thing on the social medias, so I don't know how true it is. I think it was an Instagram reel.
Everything posted on social media is true.
I forgot. We already declared that. So, so they were saying that a lot of women are now wearing glitter when they go out on dates because married men then won't touch them because they don't want to come home with glitter on them. Well, it turns out glitter can actually also save your life. So a woman was red rummed or unalived, and she had been wearing body glitter. And the way they caught her killer is he brought the same form of glitter home, and then that glitter had her DNA on it.
Shut up.
So also, anybody who's traveling across the country, just wear glitter.
I actually have some spray on glitter that I've been wearing recently, so good.
Just look fabulous. Like travel and sparkle the whole way.
So while I'm in Portugal, I've been planning to just head to toe.
Do it. Do it. I will say that so when I was younger, I went on a couple of road trips with my grandparents, and one of them they took us like from Fresno. Actually, we weren't living in Fresno at the time. We were living in Rona Park, so they took us from there, and we went through several cities, and we ended up going through Yellowstone,
Ooh.
and then back, and we stopped in Salt Lake and visited my aunt who lived there. That was kind of a whatever moment for me as a 10-year-old. I didn't give a shit. But and then we made our way back and we like came back to the I think we even stopped in Disneyland on that trip. But it was a really crazy long road trip with my grandparents. And I will say that one of the coolest things we did, and this is so totally random, is my grandparents would always stay at a hotel that was near a cemetery. And the reason they did this is because they like to go for evening walks. And what better place to then go for a walk that you actually feel safe is in a cemetery. And I would have never thought that, but you would be surprised how well patrolled cemeteries are.
I used to
Even though people ain't snatching them bodies anymore.
I used to take naps in cemeteries when I was like
Yeah.
in younger years because I needed some place to sleep in my car because I didn't have time to like go home. And on my way there wasn't like a Walmart or something like that, but there was a cemetery there. It was well lit, it was quiet. People don't bother you. Like there was a couple of caretakers that would be like, "What's going on?" And I'd wait to them and explain to them what was going on. They're like, "Oh, okay, cool, sweet, that makes sense. It's quiet. Nobody's gonna bother you, hopefully." So that does make sense. But like I kind of like cemeteries because like when I go to different cities, I'll visit cemeteries. One, I like to see where famous people are buried. But it gives you, I don't know, it's like a little piece of history. Yeah, I know there's dead bodies there, but like you get a chance to see, oh, this tombstone is from 1712. Like, wow, that's cool. Or this one is from this time. And sometimes they have like how they passed away. Say, oh, this person died from the plague. That's insane. This person died, and it says they left behind a widow. Oh, and here's the widow, and she had another husband. But it's, I don't know. It's just cool to see that kind of stuff. And again, with road trips, you get a chance to stop at a bunch of those places, and you get a chance to just take your time. You know, you're not flying over the top of it. Yes, getting to your destination is cool, but you know, what does it say about the journey is part of it? And I really do enjoy that journey. The longest road trip I ever took, it was during the plague. I was I flew back from New York to LA, and then I was driving back to Alabama, and I was just like, I, it's not like I'm employed right now. I can take my time. So I drove from LA to Vegas, spent the night there, and then I went from Vegas, I think, to Colorado. Then
Hmm.
from Colorado, I drove up to where's Mount Rushmore? That South Dakota.
Yeah.
So that drove up to South Dakota. Then I drove over to St. Louis. That sounds right.
Missouri?
Yes. And then from St. Louis, I went back to Birmingham. No, I made a stop in Nebraska, Omaha, because
Hmm.
I visited with one of my friends from high school, and I hadn't seen her since high school, so we had brunch together, and I went to the zoo. So that was really, really nice. I was glad to see her. Um, but like, I was just driving. I ain't had shit to do. Oh, I think I ran into my sister as well. She was she was a flight attendant at the time, and we ended up having breakfast together. I think it was like in St. Louis or close to St. Louis. I was just like, "Hey, where are you?" She was like, "I'm here." I was like, "Oh God, I'm so close to you." She's like, "Oh my God, let's do breakfast." She lives in New York still, so So that was a really really fun road trip. Mount Rushmore is overrated. It's like, it's cool to see, but I'm glad I wasn't like that. Wasn't my whole trip. It was like, oh, we go to South Dakota. Crazy Horse, that one is nice. Even though it's unfinished, it's really cool looking. And they have the Native American Museum, like, that you can walk through and whatnot. That's really cool. I kind of wish they would finish it in a way, but it looks so cool. It really, really does. That one looks cooler than Mount Rushmore. Mount Rushmore just it's underwhelming. You
I can only imagine.
you haven't been?
White man on a rock. No, I have no desire. Like, oh, look at the portraits of white men on rock. Like, it's an amazing idea, but the whole fact that I don't know, there's a part of me, segue, that feels like America is so like narcissistic. We're like, look
Yes.
at all of these impressive men that have been in the past. And I'm like, where's our statues of the ladies that have made a contribution, the people of minority, like sorry, but I am 100% for tearing down any Confederate
Oh yeah.
bullshit. Oh, let's hold on to 8 years of American history. Really, that 8 years was so great? Pretty sure it wasn't. Like,
It
let it go.
was not. Twas not great. They lost.
No. Mm, yeah. That's like wearing a ring for the team that lost any major sporting event. You're like, but they were there. I have the ring, they were there.
They were there. But there's probably somebody who was
Ugh.
doing that, in all honesty. Because America,
Probably.
America, America.
Brr. Yeah. No, I will say that, like, so my biggest thing, if you're traveling and you're on a plane and the plane lands, you don't need to stand up. If you're not in the first 3 rows, sit your ass down. If you're not carrying a small baby that you need to stand up and comfort, sit down. If you are not an elderly person that is like suffering from arthritis, sit down. If you have to bend over slightly to stand up, sit down. So I have a friend, she's like 5'3". So she can stand up when the plane lands. You don't even notice her because she's underneath. Like, she could be in the window seat and stand up with no problem. Don't have a problem with that. But if you book it to the aisle, there's 2 things. You better be about to shit your pants and you need to get off this plane, or you better hurry it the fuck up when it comes to you. Because I can't tell you how many of those people stand up and then dilly-dally. Or just, oh, I need to get my luggage that's 4 rows behind me. Sir,
Okay,
why did you stand up then?
I get that. I need to stand up because I don't move during the flights. Typically, I get a window seat, I get there, and I'm immediately asleep before I even take off. So when we land, my body's like, girl, what are you doing? You've been sitting in the same spot for 8 hours. You should probably move. And then I'm like, and so I do have to stand up. And I'm sorry to all the people who think I shouldn't be standing up. Fuck you.
Yeah, but are you standing up, getting in the aisle, looking like you're in a hurry? Or are you just standing up in front of your seat?
I'm standing up in front of my seat typically, but like
Okay,
I'm hunched
that's what
over.
I'm talking about. That's fine. But if you're standing up, you know what I'm talking about. People who stand up and book it into
Yeah,
the aisle.
yeah, I can't do that because I'm always in the
Window seat.
yeah. Can I get a
Yeah.
window seat? I I love the window seat because like I said, I'm usually sleeping. And if I'm not sleeping, I'm watching a movie. And if I'm not watching a movie, I'm sleeping. Or eating the complimentary food that they give us. The flight food has been better too recently. So shout out.
I okay, so I haven't had a flight where the food's been complimentary, aside from being in first class. So when I flew out to Florida the first time I went out there, I decided to splurge. I had also worked an extra shift, so I was like, I can afford it. So I splurged and I got first class. There, I got first class back. And with first class comes free food and free alcohol.
It does.
I'm going to tell you, it was 1,000% worth it,
Yeah.
because I was drunk as a skunk when
Nice.
I landed in Florida, and then went around Disney World the whole day. And my family at 4 p.m., 3:30, we're like, we're done. We're gonna go back to the hotel. And I full on looked at my sister, her husband, his parents, my niece and nephew, who at the time were like like 11 and 13, and I said, I'm hungover and I'm still going. What is your problem?
Disney's the happiest place on earth. And they were
They
done
just
at
couldn't
4
handle
o'clock?
the humidity.
Oh, well.
They were done at 4 o'clock because of the humidity, because we live on the West Coast and we're not used to the heat and humidity. And I'm like, that's when you get a cold drink and or a water and you just, but you keep going. Like you don't stop. I was like,
Can't
we've
stop going.
never been out here. Yeah. I was like, we've never been out here. We got to ride all the rides. We got to do all the things. So if there was any ride that was somewhat similar to something that was in California, except for 3 rides, they didn't ride them the whole trip.
That's
It was
insane.
so frustrating because I was like, are you kidding me? Because what they missed out on is the fact that although the rides may have the same name, they're completely different
Right.
from one coast to the other. They're not the exact same ride. Jungle Cruise was different. Haunted Mansion was different. Thunder Mountain was different. Peter Pan was different. Like they're unique in their own ways, but they're not direct replicas. And I was like, again, and I looked at my niece and nephew and I was like, you will never come out here again because you will not be able to afford this till you're my age. And by that time, who knows what the world will be like. So I don't know if you'll ever come out here again. Well, and my niece was on the phone the entire time. We went through Haunted Mansion. You know how they like take your photo, or maybe you do or you don't. But you get to a point and they like take your photo on the Haunted Mansion in Walt Disney World. In Disneyland, they don't do this. They don't take your photo. But you have like a ghost sitting next to you. My niece was like literally like this on her phone. And I was like, we stopped because sometimes that happens like partway through. And I was like, text her because we were stopped. Get off your phone. And she just responded, LOL. And then we get off the ride and I was like, dude, you were on your phone the entire time. She's like, no, I wasn't. And then the photos came across on her phone and I was like, tell me that again. She's like, okay, it's on my phone. Why
Oh.
do we even bring you places? Why are you even here?
Okay, so when it comes to traveling and pet peeves, I usually travel solo a lot, but when I'm with people, it really frustrates my soul when they don't take good pictures of me. So there's my one friend. You know, I'm calling him out. Justin. Love Justin. Great guy. We've traveled to a few places together, but he doesn't like taking pictures. And he doesn't like necessarily pictures being taken. I will give him credit where credit's due. He is getting better at it, at both taking pictures and having pictures taken of him. But like he was like, you just need to be in the moment. I'm like, I am in the moment, but I'd also like to preserve it so I can see it later on and have a reminder of all the fun things that I did. I was like, because sometimes I'll send you a random picture and you're like, oh, I forgot about that. Right. And you would have never had that memory again, possibly, if we didn't take that picture. But like he'll get mad. He'll be like, I already took a picture of you. I was like, yes, and it's a shitty picture. So that's why I want you to retake it. If you take good pictures of me, maybe a couple good pictures, I won't keep asking you to take pictures over and over. Like one of the pictures I got pissed off about him. It was my first time going to Universal, and I was like, hey, can you take a picture of me in front of the sign? And you know, it's a giant spinning globe that says Universal. So the words Universal are right there. Did he get the words in there? No. He just kind of halfway and then kind of handed me a whole and I was just like, what is this? And then he was like, I knew you were going to ask me to take more pictures. I was like, yes, because you took a shitty picture. I was like, do you realize all I want is one good picture? If you take a good one, you won't have to hear me fussing. And like I've explained it to him so many times. And like when you're walking up, there's like this giant dinosaur dragon thing. It's so cool. And I was like, oh my gosh, I love dragons. I love dinosaurs. So I was like taking pictures of it. And he was upset because we were late. We weren't to go to a ride that starts every 20 minutes. And we went on like a Tuesday when nobody was there. And I was just like, why the fuck are you rushing me? Like, I am enjoying the moment. I'm savoring every single moment here. I was like, I'm taking this picture. I was like, because I want to remember it. I was like, because this looked really cool. There's another time, um, he was taking a picture in front of a building, and he was like, "Oh, it's a terrible picture." I was like, "Yes, because you're not putting forth any effort." And I was like, "Listen," I was like, "I'm gonna take the exact same picture of you." I was like, "Watch how much better it is." So he took the selfie, and it was bad. It looked bad. I took a step back, and I focused on him a little bit more, and had the building in the background. You could still see it clearly, but it was just about the angle that I did. And he was like, "Oh man, I look like I'm about to give a news report." I was like, "Right." I was like, "How long did that take me?" He was like, "Not long at all." I said, "Right." I was like, "You didn't smile at all. You didn't move." I was like, "But it's a great picture." I was like, "It takes a little bit of effort, but now you have a great picture that you actually love." I was like, "So it's not that you're bad at it, you just don't try." So
Is this an allegory for men in relationships?
this is just men in general.
Okay, just making sure because the whole fact that like I feel like most men, if you see their dating profiles, they just don't try. Like and
Oh
what's
my
worse is
god.
when these women post these photos of like me with my husband versus my husband when he's like hunting or
Yes.
fishing and the smile on his face, and I'm like, that man doesn't like you.
At all. At all.
He wanted the benefits of a wife. He doesn't like you.
Ooh, we don't have to do an episode. He don't like you.
Ooh, okay, next episode. He don't like you.
Mm-hmm.
And how do we know he don't like you? We can give you examples.
Yes. Plenty. But, I like Justin. Justin's a good guy. And he is coming around to, the art of taking pictures. And he's like, okay, I probably should take more pictures. And I'm like, right. I was like, just because you take more pictures, like, there is a difference between, like, your niece, who is in her phone the entire time, and me, who's walking around. Half the time, I forget to take as many pictures as I want. I don't take as many videos of. Hell, the last time we were together, did we even take a picture?
No, we took pictures of other shit. We didn't take a picture. Actually, I take that back. The last time we were together, we did a video of an
We
alcohol
did.
beverage
Yes.
kind of combo.
Okay.
So we did that. But like previous times before that, we went on a pumpkin patch or we went to a pumpkin patch that
Oh, we
had
didn't even take a
like
picture?
animatronic dinosaurs.
Yay.
And we took pictures of the dinosaurs, but we never took a picture together. And I will say I'm the worst person about that because we grew up in a time where photos were limited and developing film costs money. Like, you aren't of the era where photos are unlimited and you can just delete it from the cloud.
Right.
Like, we're not of that era. So, Z and below, give us millennials a fucking break. We had to deal with dial up internet and wind up cameras. Back the fuck up a bit, okay?
Yeah.
We dealt with all the precursors to all the cool shit you have now.
Yeah. I
End
just
of soapbox.
I just wish he would take, and like I said, I do like candid photos where not everything is staged. Like, those are really cool. And I enjoy taking those, but I wish that's one of the things I wish for my travel. I wish I had somebody who was taking more candid photos of me, just enjoying stuff. I do have a really cool picture that a friend of mine took of me. I was petting a little itty bitty turtle, and that was really cool.
Aw. Well, we will make a. So we are taking a trip together in June,
Dude.
and I will make a promise to you that I will make sure I get some good photos of you and some candid photos while we're out and about, and we will post to the social medias our excursion because we're gonna go see Ludacris in Florida.
I can't believe you got me on this.
It's like I'm like high school me is like fucking pumped for this shit. Like early college days, I was like, these two were the shit. Like the only thing that would make this better if it was somewhat of a small festival and Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre were there. Maybe Chingy, maybe a little bit of Nelly. This would be like
Even
it
in
for
their
me.
heyday, I don't think I've ever wanted to see them in concert.
Any of those people?
Well,
Oh boy.
maybe, I guess, I don't know. I enjoy their music. I can probably rap some of their songs from start to finish. However, um, I don't know if I've ever wanted to go to any of their concerts.
I'm so disappointed.
You're welcome.
Okay, like I don't get me wrong, I would love to have seen Janet on her last tour,
Ooh,
but like
yeah.
I'm not paying that kind of money.
Ooh, yeah. You're right. Who?
That's the thing. Like, and so the fact that these tickets were reasonable and were in a really good area, like as far as like the venue goes, and I was just like, this is gonna be a fun night
It is. It's
because
gonna be fun.
these
Definitely.
these two made hits, and like I'm just like, this is gonna be fun. Like, it's of course like it'll be more fun because I'm with you and we don't have a bad time together. So like, there's no way this is gonna be awful. All right. Well, thank you everybody for joining us again for another unhinged, unprecedented, unpredictable episode from Seriously Like WTF. Have a great week. Until next week. And we will see you.
Next Tuesday.
Okay, bye.
Bye.